Donald Trump is continuing to unleash attacks on the Clinton campaign. Last night, the GOP frontrunner tweeted, "Remember that Bill Clinton was brought in to help Hillary against Obama in 2008. He was terrible, failed badly, and was called a racist."
And today, Trump is doubling down on his comments that going after Bill Clinton's sexual past is, quote, fair game.
She is going to play the woman card because I'll do more for women than Hillary Clinton is going to do for women, including the safety of our country, which is good for everybody. But if she's going to play, which she started about a week ago, talking about, oh, he mentioned, and, you know, the whole thing, playing up the women's card very, very strongly. And if she's going to play that game, and if he's going to be out there campaigning, then he's certainly fair game. And I think just about everybody agrees with me on that. This is a person who, you know, he's going to be out, and I like the fact that he's campaigning for her. He failed in 2008. He failed really badly. He frankly did a very poor job in campaigning.
Politico reporter Kevin Robillard joins us from Washington. Kevin, we see Donald Trump ramping up his attacks against Hillary Clinton and, of course, former President Bill Clinton. What exactly is the end game here for Donald Trump?
Trump is sort of trying to warn the Clintons that if he's in a general election against Hillary, he'll bring up Bill's past, and that includes the affairs and many other alleged things about Bill Clinton and his treatment of women, which those are some very, very ugly allegations, and something Republicans have tried to use against Hillary in the past, and really obviously tried to use against Bill in the past, and they've never really brought Bill or Hillary down much as politicians. But he clearly thinks that this is somehow some vulnerability. A lot of Hillary's campaign is sort of going to be based around you know, identity politics and the fact that she is the first ever woman president. And this is Trump's way of thinking he can blunt that by basically pointing out that she's married to a man who has a history of not great behavior towards women.
Well, Clinton's campaign came out against what Trump was saying, look, they're not going to be bullied or pushed around or distracted by Trump's attacks. But how do you demonstrate that to the American public? Because, you know, when you go after the Donald, he comes out swinging. Sometimes he's swinging wildly. So what does the campaign have to do?
Well, I think that's a little bit, the campaign maybe shouldn't be taken too seriously on this. They want Hillary to be in a one-on-one argument with Donald Trump as much as they can. They don't want Hillary to be in a one-on-one argument with Marco Rubio or one of the other Republican candidates that they might be a little bit more afraid of. They think probably the contrast of Hillary being, you know, a serious policy-focused person against Trump being, you know, bombastic billionaire Donald Trump is a good one. They're not going to get down at Trump's level. But every single time Trump takes a shot at Hillary, that really can only help Hillary, particularly when they're in the Democratic primary.
You know, last night we saw Donald Trump firing back at the New Hampshire Union Leader newspaper over an editorial that compared him to a bully in Back to the Future. I'm wondering, Kevin, are there any indications based on Donald Trump's response that this editorial kind of got under Donald Trump's skin in a way that maybe other attacks haven't? Because, you know, some might say, well, this is sort of the way he just operates, reflexively hitting back.
Yeah, I mean, and I think this is. If Donald Trump gets hit, this is one thing Donald Trump has not lied about. When he gets hit, he hits back. And that's been his modus operandi throughout this campaign. If you remember way back in, I believe, August or September, the Des Moines Register, the leading newspaper in Iowa, actually called on Trump to drop out of the race. Trump responded by, I believe, briefly barring Des Moines Register reporters from some of his events and by attacking the newspaper, just like he did here with the Union Leader. One thing I would note is the Union Leader has a history of sort of writing these anti-endorsements. You know, they'll endorse a candidate and then pick one candidate they'll really hit. They did this actually to Mitt Romney back in 2008. They wrote an anti-Mitt Romney editorial. Mitt Romney ended up finishing second in the state. So Trump's, you know, these anti-editorials against Trump probably can't damage him all that much. The Union Leader does have some power left in the state, but it's not the kind of thing that's going to sink Trump's campaign. And I think this just shows that this is just sort of how Trump operates.
Can we talk a little bit about Ted Cruz? He's doing pretty well in Iowa. He's received several endorsements from lawmakers in the House, but none in the Senate. I want to know what you make of that and whether or not you think getting support from some members in the Senate is vital to his campaign.
I mean, I think it's really simple what to make of it. Senators on both sides of the aisle do not like Ted Cruz. They just don't. There's a few exceptions to that. You know, some of the more conservative Republican senators get along better with him than the vast majority of the Republican caucus. But the other senators do not like Ted Cruz. They think he's a grandstander. They think he's arrogant. In the House, there's sort of a larger group of people who are ideologically sympathetic to him. So that's why he's been able to pick up endorsements there, just from the other sort of really hardcore conservatives that are in the House. Does he need endorsements from senators? No, and I don't think he particularly wants them. Ted Cruz is running as an anti-establishment politician. That said, if Ted Cruz wants to win the presidency and actually wants to govern, he probably needs to build better relationships with some of these senators because they're still going to be around. But he doesn't need these endorsements because that's not, the message he's trying to project. He's not trying to say, look at how much all these other politicians like me. He's trying to say, these other politicians hate me, that's why you should elect me.
Yeah, he certainly made his name with a statement like that. Kevin Robillard from Politico, thank you so much.
Great to be on.